what is it? I'm like, thick windows. Because it is kind of nice to have like a nice sturdy window and whatever it is. And he's like, why do you like? He's like, I can't believe that's where your brain went. I'm like, I don't know either, but it's like I allow it to like travel and like show me things because it's like
we all see the world differently.
Yeah, and that's fun.
Yes,
I love
it. That's the I think the beauty of art. We can see and perceive the world through the lenses of the artist, right? Either whether a painting or a song. Mm-hmm. I think it's a beautiful world. I think that we can just by sharing that with musical notes and rhythm and melody and harmony. It just changes the whole thing.
I love
it. You can take people to a different world. Just I mean, how many times I've gone to bed just listening to music, just because what it does to your mind. What it makes you think about, and it just sometimes it's escape for me.
Well, no, it's if I don't make it or listen to music for a good minute, my body just shuts down. It's like not like a bad way, but it's like because like something's missing. And I'm like, oh, okay, this music, because like I can't stop.
That's interesting, yeah.
Because I've done it so much, like it's so instilled. Like when I was in college, I didn't know, like how to even like I knew how to talk to people, but it's like I never really have a lot of close. I had friends, but not friends I would go regularly and hang out with. So what I'd do is I'd go to class, then go to my practice, and then go back to my dorm, make music the rest of the night.
Did you play soccer or something?
I did track. I ran track, yeah.
Oh,
so I came for sprinting. Switched over to 4x8, went back to sprinting, and then I ended up doing throwing my last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, I was all over the place. But it was, but what was it? It's like, all I did was go straight to my dorm and make music by myself for like nonstop. And so it's like, when I moved out of my parents' house, I have no table, I have a bed, and I have clothes, but I have a desk, I have a chair, I have speakers, I have I have all the music things, but like, and no couches, no chairs for people. So if you come over, like you can tell what I'm really about. And so it's like, I'm like, it's like this funny. My niece came up to my apartment because they wanted to see my apartment, and so she's 3, and then my nephew is 5. And so I show them my apartment, and she goes like, I see the kitchen, it's like really narrow, and she goes, "Where's your table?" And I was like, so I took her to the living room. I showed her to my desk. It's like, you need a table. I was like, yeah, I need a table.
Yeah.
But I put all my chips into that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. You ready? Help me with your last name again.
Medellin.
Medellin.
Yeah.
Is that, and you go by Abe or just Abraham? Or
I like to go by Abraham or Abraham.
Abraham?
Yeah, dude, it has way more like fortissimo in that. Like Abe, I would say for like really people that really get to who know me. Not saying you don't. You can have a right to say it, but it's like there are some people it's like don't.
No, I mean, however you like to be called, that's it.
Whatever works.
Yeah, names are very important. Very important.
Yeah, I don't know why. Growing up, it was like something that was like kind of not stripped from me, but taken away because they never wanted. Like my sister's name is Alidi. And so no one called her that. They called her Allie. So it's like, that's how she's known. And it's like, for me, it was like, they just called me Abe. And so like, I never heard someone call my name Abraham. I always like heard Abraham when I'm in trouble. But as I got older, it's like, if I introduce myself to someone new or like, as I'm networking in music, it's a lot easier to say Abraham Medellin. Cause that has like a lot more like connotation and more like foundation than Abe.
And is this written in English like Abraham or just in Spanish, Abraham? What did your parents call you? Abraham?
Yeah, Abraham, and then this is spelled in English like Abraham.
Okay.
Yeah, which I don't know, it's weird. And like the funniest thing is like even growing up, like this is off the beaten path, but like my dad, they never spoke one language, so I had to learn both at the same time.
So Spanish and English.
Spanish and Portuguese, and then when I got introduced to Goshen.
So how's your Portuguese? You speak Portuguese?
It's a mess because I mix it with Spanish, but like you can understand it. Like that's to me that's enough. And then as I like,
well, they're very similar.
Oh yeah, and it's like yeah, and as I get to talk to more people, I just want to get better with it because it's like again like at some point I want to start making music in like those native tongues or those native languages just because it's like it's a piece I don't want to forget. Like it'd be kind of cool to do my style in those.
Well, those two cultures are like. An explosion, man. Brazil and Mexico.
Yeah.
And now the U.S.
and the thing is, they didn't teach me any of the culture. Like it was just straight Mennonite culture. It was like really like militant. Like so at least at that time, it was like militant, quiet. Don't express yourself. Like my mom spoke in tongues. And so like there was a time she was like that she just gets into it like and that's what I get from her. It's like, and so like she's out here doing her thing during a song.
I didn't know Mennonites did that.
They didn't. She was the only one. She wasn't Mennonite.
Oh wow.
So like her story, that's her story, but like her whole story it's crazy, dog. It's so crazy.
Okay, so now this is interesting.
Oh, it gets deep, dog. It gets so deep. And so yeah, I'm not getting too much in her story, but she was brought over to America. I'll let her. I forgot. I don't want to say anything that's not true. But like, yeah. And then from there, that she was able to go to Chicago and went. That's how she met my dad. But she was like church hopping. It's like her main thing was she was connected with God. That was it. And there was just the Mennonites that happened to help her here because it's what's really the foundation. So she just went to Mennonite churches. And so then, but like she was kind of like free formed, like that's what was her great, like, or Pentecostal, I think, in that part. And so like that didn't work well because a lot of people thought she was like showing off or like annoying people. Because again, it's like really like seeing harmony in the release where she's like, no, you got to experience this. And so,
and it could be related to the Brazilian culture.
Yeah.
Too, though,
That's what I'm saying.
I was just telling you, it's
energy.
not Brazilians. I mean, the people that I know, they're very expressive and they're just you know how they feel because they make it known. So
I gotta go, dude. I need to go.
Yeah.
And so at that church service, a group of people came up to my mom and like, hey, like either you kind of stop or you don't come back.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's like I was like, and then ever since I had a really distaste for church at that time because I'm like, I thought we came here to like be ourselves,
express yourself.
But it's a lot different now. I know because like things change and people had to go, like, trials and tribulations. But like I was like, yeah, no. And then so there was a big, for me it was like I get to sleep in on Sundays now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now she just kind of, then she went off her own and studied like all these different religions to kind of see what was true to her because she didn't want to lose that connection with God. But that, yeah, I grew up mainly, I didn't listen to music growing up. I listened to like Portuguese pastors, like it's pretty much Pentecostal, like it's just really, it's crazy. And then Mennonite singing harmonies. So it's like I have all this weird stuff and it's just kind of like, all right, cool.
Wow, awesome. Listo, Sahib? Oh, all right. Well, let's do a proper introduction. Welcome to the Goshen Chronicles.
Thanks for having me.
Abraham Medellin.
Yeah.
So we've been talking for 15 minutes without knowing that we were recording, but let's get some shape into the conversation. So you came from Chicago when you were about 2-3 years old.
Yeah.
We were talking about your family, your dad Mexican, your mom Brazilian, and somehow you ended up in the area. You went to Goshen College, so you are essentially the second generation immigrant. And I met you. We met you at the GBCO.
Wait, my bad. Is first generation like your parents immigrated here?
Yeah, the ones that came here with Or was that the case?
No, I'm first gen.
Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
No. So then we met you at the GBCO. And one thing that I noticed right away is that you really enjoy music. I mean, that's just like the very first thing. And that's so important for a performer. But you also write songs. You taught yourself to play the guitar. And you have projects going on. You're writing your songs and you're playing. Last month, in the first Friday, you were singing on the streets. And I could, I was recording. We were doing a live video, and I saw people dancing and rocking to your music.
Oh, heck yeah.
And that's good, man. So congratulations. So tell me a little bit about, your musical career. I know it's a passion of yours.
Yeah.
But what is it that you're having in mind? How do you want to share, this thing that you love so much, which is music, and which I identify with you because, again, I'm a musician as well. And I really enjoy music. So, but what is it that you want to convey to your listeners?
I just want to be like, dude, that's a great question. You asked at the right time. I've been reflecting on that so hard for these past couple of years. I'm like, why do I want to share this? Like, what makes me want to share it? I would say I want to share it just because it's a piece of the world. Like you're seeing somebody do something that they love that reminds you like you have something that you love.
Oh.
And so it's just like, it doesn't have to be what I'm the way I'm doing it. Cause like, you'll figure it. And if you don't know what that is, you'll figure it out. It's a feeling. So it's like, once you see that feeling and you see someone in doing that, it's like, okay, it's something like that is out there. Go seek it for yourself. And I feel like that's why like I want to draw the emphasis of like, when you see me, it's cause like you want to be like, you're not reminded, but you want to just come feel loved and cared for. Cause I'm pouring my heart out. In a sense, because like I want to like, this is like, thank you for allowing me to develop this skill and this talent, and I want to share it and leave you feeling like that I feel rejuvenated. I feel like I wasn't there to waste time or whatever it is, and I had a great time. So it's like, yeah.
Very good. I think all of us have something to share with the world. And we were talking about what songs, and not just the lyrics, but the music, the three elements of music, rhythm, melody, and harmony, what it conveys and how it takes, words to it takes us to a different world. I mean, where you're able to convey not just, a sound, but a feeling. And you can connect with somebody that is performing to an emotional and also the spiritual level. Because it's so interesting, the songs that we listen. And I don't know what music you listen to. I'll ask you that question, but
No worries.
you listen to something and it makes us all feel the same thing. Like let's just talk about big bands like the Beatles, for example. And you put certain songs and everybody's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
and everybody feels that, that energy. Now, some of those singers are no longer on earth,
Yeah.
but something that belonged to them stayed here with music. So that's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And that's crazy.
What kind of music do you listen to? Tell me some of your favorite bands or.
I definitely would say like I like listening to things that have like soul to it. Because it just genre jumps. Like I'm never really tied to one, but I definitely like. I've been listening to a lot of right now. Gene Dawson. He's like a really like like a mixed person as well. Like with like a Hispanic, I think, parent, and then the other one like speaking English, and watching his journey. Childish Gambino. I listen to Modest Mouse, like a bunch of like people who are very creative and that just kind of like break those barriers and like leave you wondering what they're talking about. Like Isaiah Rashad, Schoolboy Q, our hip hop artist. I'm listening to dang it, there's this band, I think Big Thief. It's a folk band. Like I like things that just when you listen to it, like you can close your eyes and it makes you want to move. Like if you ever see me walking down the street, like I have my headphones in, 9 times out of 10 I'm working so hard not to like start singing along and like dancing to it. But like that's the stuff I listen to. And then but yeah, those are mainly the things I listen to.
And how did you get to the point of you knew that you wanted to do music, that you wanted to be a performer, an artist?
Funny, yeah. So it was my when I got my guitar, it was a right-handed guitar first act. It was my birthday. It was cool because my mom, I just wanted like a Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2 game for like $10 at that point for PS2. And my mom, like, she got me the guitar, and then we were checking out, and she goes, put the game back. And I like made a million excuses.
Smart move from your mom.
No, trust me. She was like, put the game back. And I was like, last second, I'm complaining. I'm like, we can't afford lessons. I can't do this. I'm left-handed. Like, again, I let the wall stop me. She just said nothing. We get in the car. I'm still complaining. And then she finally got fed up. And while my dad was driving, she like looks back at me. She goes, if you're serious about something in this world, you're going to figure out how to do it. And there's no way that you're not going to like let it stop you. So I was like, all right, you're the boss.
It's so interesting because today I was telling you I had a conversation with my mom, and we recorded that for just, for the sake of keeping, documenting. And my mom was my influence for music. She actually taught me the first 3 chords in guitar.
That's awesome.
And, the influence of moms on our lives and how they change our destiny with their choices and how they instruct us is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So, plus your mom is from Brazil, and I was telling you, I had the opportunity to travel to Brazil about 20 years ago and meet the culture. And my gosh, Brazilians really feel life. You can tell me when they dance, they dance. When they sing, they sing. I mean, they don't hold up anything. And I think you have some of those genes.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like I'm trying. That's the fun part. Like as I'm doing music more, I'm discovering where did these things come from? Because I know it didn't come from air. Like connecting to like the spiritual, the way I experience it is like, if I acknowledge my ancestors, like they're like, hey, if you remember us, like, through like eating certain vegetables or foods that they ate or hard work, labor that they did, and like then it's like, okay, what do we now that you acknowledged us, like how do you want to use our energy? And like I tell them like, okay, I want to use it in music. They're like, okay, if this is, as long as you acknowledge us and you do right by us, we will give you our energy. Then for you, so we can now, it's a transfer of energy of generations. So it's like that's how I experience it, and it's like I know when I'm in the right path, not path, but like I'm doing right because the performance is like, it's unhinged energy. It's just like you're just seeing the aura right there. And I know I'm not doing right when I'm performing, and it's just like, it feels like it's like the car that's not starting, and I feel it, I know it. And so like the thing is, and that's like, it's like something that I just learned as I performed everywhere. Like the biggest place, I know that's not even the question you asked, but like there's a time I went to the woods to perform, like I performed by myself. Cause I'm like, okay, cool. So I brought I invested all my money in gear so I can perform anywhere. So like in like I don't want any excuses. I can perform in the street. I can perform whatever it is, and I love it. So I went to the woods, and I went to perform, and I just came in, and then like no, like so something told me like stop, and so I'm like, all right, cool. So I stopped, and I listen to like my environment. I like, okay, like everything here is music. Everything here is connected. The birds chirp. It complements the wind. It complements and I got that deep into it. And so then I was like, okay, if I'm trying to bring my sound or who I am into this place, I can't come saying this is who I am. I have to respect it and find a way to integrate my energy with that.
Put yourself into context.
Yeah.
Right?
And I did it. And it was just like, I swear, like animals came out. Like, it's so strange. Like during the pandemic, I was like, I would religiously make music at 9 a.m. It started off with one. I had a photo on my old phone. One bird would show up in my window. And it ended up being like with like a whole like little pack of birds waited for me before I even started making music. For like a whole month, they would outside my window. Like I promise you, I'm not even making this up.
I believe you.
And I'm sitting there like, wow, like. But I stopped caring because it was like, I'm like, that's just normal. Like that's like, to me, it's like I'm doing it right. Like I'm figuring out how to take this energy and like find the places to play. Like I played an hour set at the hospital. They said don't yell, don't scream, play. But like, so I'm like, I'm not used to that. But I didn't make it no excuse. Okay, cool. I toned everything down. Figure out how to complement the background. But not take too much space, but make enough time for people to stop and like, okay, this sounds like something different. I've learned to play super loud because it's like that's the place and the time for that. So it's like I made myself versatile. So it's like I can play in cafes, I can play in bars, I can play in venues, I can also DJ now. So it's like I have no excuse to like, okay, there's multiple avenues I can keep going in, where a lot of people only say like, I'm going to do this and this only, and then I have a very hard line to walk. Like I can be like, if this whole lane is saturated, well then I'm like, all right, cool, and I'll just go play at Subway because I can, and complement that.
Yeah, there is a struggle that musicians who are really passionate about the art go through, which is to make a living, because that is the one thing that I find a lot of musicians who are passionate about music, but there's always that but of, yeah, but I can't make a living out of this, and I got to look for something that will pay the bills and do all that. And I think that we are missing the opportunity, not to say that everybody should pursue a music career.
Yeah.
But, there's, like you were saying, you keep saying that there's no excuses. If you love music, just go write a song. You go play guitar. You do it. You don't have to have an audience to go through the experience. And going back to the day that I met you and I saw you playing, I just felt that. I didn't really hear much of the music or the lyrics, but I felt the energy. And that's the first thing that I told Sahib. This guy, he really feels the music. So that was very interesting. But let's talk about a little bit of the industry, because it's not that I'm hoping for a renaissance of music again, of real music, because we have, oh my gosh, challenges such artificial intelligence. I was just telling you that, people just, put make me a song about this with the voice of whoever and put this rhythm, and it just makes it for you, right?
Yeah.
But, I think that going back to the essence of music and what it is and what it represents, and we can get deep into the philosophical arguments of what it is, right? But it's more like an experience. There's nobody that, hears a good groove that can't stop their bodies from, start tapping or dancing. And it's natural. Look at kids. You put music and look at kids and see what they do. And then as we grow up, we start, I don't know, like we put ourselves in boxes because of social, whatever rules, not to dance, not to move, be stiff, and this
Don't
and that.
look dumb.
And we were talking a little bit, and I don't want to get too deep into churches. I grew up in a church, and depending on what kind of church you went to, sometimes it's traditional. You're not supposed to just let it go and do this. You're singing harmony, you do things a very specific way, but man, music, and I think it's a tool to break the barriers. Dancing, for example, I think is an expression, it's an artistic expression of, of the art and what we feel, and it takes a risk to get up and dance, and most people don't get up and dance by themselves.
Yeah,
and that's quite a kind of, I don't know, a shame, because we all feel the music, we all want to move. It's just that, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it. But I was going to the point of the industry. As we are speaking today, there is a turmoil in the music industry right now with some rappers. I'm not going to name names, but I'm sure you've heard about that.
Yeah.
Everything that is taking place in the music industry, specifically hip hop.
Yeah.
And what they have made of that industry, and it's so sad to what some people have to do to, in quote, make it, right?
That's sad. That's sad.
But at the same time, there are people like you. Yesterday, I had the blessing to interview a singer-songwriter, Sadie Gustafson.
Oh, dude, she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I heard Sahib send me a link of her music. I heard the first song. I couldn't stop listening to it. And so there are musicians who are pursuing the arts, and not to say that their music is perfect or whatever, but it's real people, it's real music. It conveys a message, and the way I'm gonna say it blesses people.
Oh yeah,
because it makes you think about something, a story. Sometimes we were talking about this. The writers, the composers made the song about something completely different, and the listener makes it about their own life or events, but it doesn't really matter because we're all sharing this, spiritual, experience of this thing that we call music, which is again amazing. You get a guitar which is a piece of wood with some, strings made out of steel, and you get vibrations, and all of a sudden the environment changes.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing. I mean, we get so used to listening to music, but we don't understand the physics of things. I mean, then you get another person, and the dynamics changes. You get another musician, and then everything changes. It's a whole different sound. It's a whole different experience. I mean, music is beautiful.
Oh no, it's crazy, and but the thing is, like, you can't teach that. You have to walk. You have to be open and vulnerable enough to experience it, because it's just like something like you go to someone like, hey, I need help with something, and everyone's telling you like, this is the answer, but like, hey, well, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you have to
figure out what it means to you, because it's like, and it's a lot of people get frustrated all the time because it's like they want to know, because like they see it's like they're having fun, and it's like, but it's like you'll get it at some point. Don't feel stressed. Enjoy it. Like, relax, because it took me until like 25 to be where I'm at now. And so, because I was like blindly just like, and where it's like I had to sit down with myself like, hey, if you never make it, are you good? Like, are you gonna keep doing this? And I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that. It's like, no, like, you'll never make it. Are you okay? Are you gonna stop writing music? Are you gonna stop doing this? And I had to be like, you know what? No, because if I stopped, I would feel like something's missing.
Yeah.
So I don't care about climbing the ladder. So it shifted a lot of way. I think that's where I started moving freely, because it's like I didn't care about doing anything. I just wanted, like, this is just something I love, and it gives me that's where I met my friends. All the friends I met in my life were through that. How I got my job, to be honest. Like,
really?
Yeah. I was teaching at the middle school, Goshen Middle School, and they cut it because of funding. And then so I had a friend called me. A friend got me connected with somebody, and goes, hey, can you write a song for my company? And I was like, yeah, cool. And so then I made a song, I sent it to him, and he goes, yeah, so what are you doing for work? And I told him, they just cut my class, like that day, same day. He goes, give me 3 days. Calls me the next day, and he goes, dude, if you want, we'll hire you. Didn't look at my resume, just because like because I did, like, again, like my Instagram page is flooded with just my music, my art, and what I do. And he's just like, that's good enough. I want that creativeness in it. And I'm like, to have that happen to me is like, that's more rare than going to the music industry. Because like, we live in such a blue collar town where a company said like, oh, you make music, all right, we'll hire you because of that. Like,
yeah, that doesn't happen.
That's like I'm like, whoa.
That only happens to you.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, cool in the sense, but also like, it's like, it brings me like more like fire to like just keep pursuing it. But like, the reason why I do it now is like, okay, I have these certain skills I've learned. I have amazing, beautiful people around me. I just now want to make one project a year, or 2 projects a year, where it's based around my friends. It's not about me. So it's like, let's make something, have fun, and I'll get them paid, and then we use that to like our little tokens to play the industry. Because and then if we don't make it, then we say, okay, look, we take time, we sit back, reflect. Okay, what can we do better? Because like, it's not we want to compete. It's just we want to take our skills to the next level, because they want to do videography. They want to get really good because they get more opportunities. I want to be just making like little movies and stories that I want to, like, that's just what I want to do. And then same with editors, photographers I work with. I want to hire, like, I have a friend who can build stuff. Like, I want to hire him and have like in the music video his name's on that. And like, like, so it's like there's like art. It's like it's building your community, because the industry, like, no matter what industry, like, they don't really care about you. They just want what's hot and what we get some money. So okay, if that's what they want, that's not going to last long. What's going to last long is like, hey, remember that one time we made that project together, and everyone comes once every 5 years to come celebrate that. Like, now you're coming for something beyond the art. You're coming for a community, and that's literally what it is. Like, it took me 25 years to figure that out. Like, because I'm like sitting here, I'm like, why do I want this? Why do I want to keep getting on stage? Why do I want to keep saying, listen to me? Because like, it's, at least the way I view it, is like, it's kind of selfish to be like, I'm going to play and sing and I do this really well. Listen to me. Like, no one wants to hear that. Like, in the extent, because like, we're human. We feel when it's like, it doesn't feel authentic. But when we feel that you just genuinely love it.
Yeah, I think it helped me. One time I came to the conclusion that being a musician, I never wanted to be famous. but I did want it to be discovered. It's different. I didn't want to bury my talents. I knew that I could do something, I can share it, and I just wanted to share it. It could be just one person, it could be two people, but you know, it's what I did, right? So again, going back to that day I met you and I saw you, and I just saw you dancing and just jamming and going through your songs. And I'm like, man, this guy really loves music, which is good. How many songs have you written so far?
Dude, I've lost. I would not be surprised if it's over 3,000.
No way.
Yeah, I created like a mad dog. Like as soon as I got I've been making music since I was like young kid, but like never recorded. Obviously, it was just like whatever it is. And then I started doing I stole my dad's acoustic guitar and I started freestyling over that and made like little SoundCloud stuff. And then eventually I got a job and got my first computer and recording stuff. And then from there I would make like 3 or 4 songs a day for like the next till high school, or like no, until like for like another 7-8 years. Lost a bunch of hard drives. Like it's fine. I learned like I don't care anymore.
Right.
And it's just and so it's like, but the thing is I never put a lot of it out because not even a lot of it's good, but it's a lot of it's just sitting there. And like that's just because I learned how I create is just, I just want to keep moving because I'm trying to just like really find something that sticks. And then really like when I like if someone's saying like, hey, I will in a sense, like if I'll change your life, play me one song that will really strike a chord with me, then I know what song that is. Like, and so it's like the songs I've been performing recently are like songs that are now 3 or 4 years old now. But that's because I know no one's listening to me yet. I know that I can use these for till the day I die, and they're timeless music. I'm here to make something that's gonna last more beyond me. Yeah. And again, like I don't care if like the whole world knows it. Like as long as like one person walks away with it, then so like that's all I care. Or like even for me, like again, like I already made it. Like my parents acknowledge me doing this. Like they didn't at the start, but now it's just kind of like I just like the fact that they like I can walk around the house and I sometimes like they sing my lyrics, whatever it is. I'm like, all right, yeah, I don't need anything more. Like everything else now is like fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I'm really glad you think like that. It's just it's amazing. So you have some songs that you're gonna be playing, but before we do that, can you share what is the social media for people to find you online?
You can find me at Instagram IDK and then Medellin.
Okay.
And then that's where I'm mainly active. I'm on TikTok. I'm good at figure out how to connect naturally over there because I like to make sure I feel natural. Like I don't like that's where I need to be. Like I tend to like go the other way. Facebook, it's just Abraham Medellin, Abraham Medellin. And then that's mainly where I'm active. And then Spotify, it's just Medellin. But like look up like I would say like the song I Know or Dirty Dance or all they do is because like I think it's just use my last name and then a song that you know of, and that's gonna get you connected. I'm on all streaming platforms. And then SoundCloud I think is a lot better just because like those are songs I know I don't need to be professional and I can just make remixes and like things I can just throw out whenever I want. I think that one's just IDK Medellin as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So you besides playing the guitar, you play other instruments,
yeah.
And then you also make some tracks on the computer, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All
that's
of
awesome.
it. Like you have to learn to do it all yourself.
Yeah. So going back to what you studied in Goshen College, correct?
Yeah.
And what did you study?
It was interdisciplinary, but it was like mainly focused on communications. So it was communications, which was broken in, and then marketing, and then music. And so, because I wanted a music degree, so I did track. So I was blessed enough to get some scholarship money, and I'm like, I didn't know. I totally forgot to like. Actually, I didn't even know about it. I had to submit to other colleges, but like Jim Whitaker was the head coach at that time, and that's all I cared about. So I followed him because he raised me through middle school and track, and so I went where he went. And so I got the scholarship, and then I was like, hey, I want to do what other people are doing in other colleges, but I saw it here. I'm like, oh, I can take a music class and that can teach me this. Oh, I can take a physics class and learn about vibrations and tonals. I can take a marketing class and learn how to do it all myself. And the whole time they're like, no, you can't do this. And I was like, no, I can do it. I promise you. So I would go to my advisor and he goes, you can't do this. You can't take this class because of X, Y, Z. And then he's like, you can go talk to the teacher. So I go to talk to the teacher. I'm like, hey, I want to take this class. I see it beneficial for what I'm doing. And they go, yeah, I don't see why you can't do it. And so that was the routine for 4 years.
You didn't take a no for an answer. That's
I
good.
didn't. Yeah. And so like my last year, shout out to David Kendall. I love him. So you have your May term. And so during my May term, instead of doing like a normal class, I did my final, which was I got to shoot a documentary. I made a project with my friend. Wow. So it was all music based. And I documented the process on a paper. I'm like, this song, and this is how it started, and this is how I went. And then it was done at Camp Friedenswald in Michigan. And so it was like super cool because like I called him up and I'm like, hey, I have 4 people. We have 2 videographers, a photographer, and then I make music, and my producer Ricardo Castillo come with me. And they're like, yeah, I'll just come volunteer. And they gave us like this place for like 15 people to live just for the 4 of us. So we all had our own rooms. We helped out, and then we just like had the rest of the day to just make music. And we made music on top of a car driving around. We made music in the night, listening to like the animals. We made music everywhere we can be. Like that's what we did.
What an awesome experience.
The funniest thing though, we only made music for 3 days, and we were there for like a whole month. And the rest of the month we were just fighting because we never worked so long, and we just kept butting heads. So like if you watch the documentary, it starts off like, all right, this is gonna be cool. There's a bunch of songs we never even put out. And then and then as soon as like it cuts to like a day, and then like I'm wearing like a striped shirt and Ricardo's on the set, we were like fighting over like the tempo of a song. And I'm like, that's not the song. Blah, blah. I was like, no, I know this. And then the rest of it is kind of us like, and it cuts to a clip of me and him where I'm like talking about how I'm feeling the wind and like this wind, and I can strike a chord. This is how I'm feeling. And I'm like, dude, this is so funny. And then there's a whole other aspect where they recorded us where he's talking about like, hey, like why are you joining Abraham? And he's like telling why he's like helping me out. Literally, that if you watch that clip, it's like B-roll. It's literally that we literally were at each other's necks fighting. So that whole time, and for the clip, we just stood still and stayed quiet. But actually, I know I'm giving shout outs, but these are the homies, the 2 on Thrift, Seth Kurtz. It was him and Kyle Ramirez that shot the documentary for us.
Okay,
they were untitled back then. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, keep making music, keep enjoying music, and we'll be listening. And I'm sure you'll get far because you enjoy it and you have all your effort and your focus on it. So yeah, we wish you the best. So family and friends, there you have it. We're going to let you listen to some of his songs. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share if you haven't done so. And send us your suggestions. If you have somebody in mind that you would like us to interview, we'll be glad to do so. Magdiel Santiago with Abraham Medellin.
Gracias.
See you next time. Gracias.
Running, waiting, if love has a routine, I know. Wanting, blaming, we all want what's changing, I know. Fingers down and I'm golden. This is what life is beholden. Wishes on fixes, I'm getting my switching on 6s, I'm getting my fall.